Hi, I'm Jay Tyler. In this video, I'm going to show you my technique for maintaining the vertical dimension when moving teeth in a waxed setup. Here's a case where the lower has had post-ortho relapse. You can see they've gotten a little crooked there in the incisors. Not too bad. And I like to draw a line across the labial surfaces because if the line is straight, then the long axis is usually pretty straight, but it's not a real great indicator on the vertical. I mean, it could be off just a little bit. If it's off just a little bit and you're making something like a spring aligner, it's no real big deal. But if you're making something like an Essex retainer or something that would lap over the incisal edges, well, the vertical becomes a big deal. Because let's say if this tooth were intruded somewhat, then when you duplicate the model and make the tray, it will have a premature contact on that tooth. If it's extruded or super erupted somewhat, then it will have a void between the incisal edge and the incisal edge of the tray. So the line is good, but I like to make sure that I've got the vertical, and what I've come up with is I use these right here. These are base plates that are used in making dentures. That's the lower, and they come in the upper as well. Here's an upper. I've used this one, and I've used it on this model right here, and you can see what I do is I heat it up, it becomes pliable, and then I can mash it down over the posterior teeth. I can even lap it over on the distal, so I've got real good, a good return, but I leave it flat at point contact on the incisal edges. That way I can manipulate the teeth and then put it back on this matrix and see if I have adjusted the vertical any. And if I've messed up the vertical, I can make adjustments. So I'm going to make one for this model that we showed you that we're doing the post-ortho relapse. And what I do is I use a heat gun and I heat it up. This takes a few minutes. Okay. I got a little too hot right there, okay. You don't have to get it that hot. What I want is I want the posterior to be hot, but not the incisors, or where the incisors are going to be. Okay, I just about messed that one up. The nice thing about these things is you can use them again and again and again. So let me heat up the posteriors here. They get kind of hot, so be careful, don't burn yourself. Now I'm going to flatten this out with my finger. Flip it over. Now I'm going to put the model on it, and I'm going to mesh it down real good on the posteriors. And I'm going to just point contact on the incisors. Just point contact. I don't have to do indentation at all. In fact, I don't want any indentation. Now I want it to be parallel such that if the incisors have to go labially or lingually somewhat, they're not going to be, the vertical dimension is not going to be affected. Okay, that's cooled down enough. Now I'm going to put this in cool water just to kind of set it. I broke a little piece off there. Now I have a pretty good indication of the vertical there. Now I can go in there and manipulate these teeth, and here's a little trick I learned along the way. This is just a soldering iron I got at a hardware store. It came with this flat tip, and I can use this to heat up the wax between the teeth. It's real quick. I can go underneath here, and then I can go in here and make my adjustments. I can just use my fingers, or I can use an instrument just to get them kind of lined up nicely. And now I can check the vertical by putting it back on the matrix. And if I'm off a little bit, like I said, I can just pull it down if it's not quite touching. And then I can go ahead and check it with the opposing. I think that'll be kind of nice. And this tooth's a little bit off. In fact, let me intrude a tooth for you and just show you how this works. Okay, so I've intruded that tooth. I'm going to put this on here, and you can see it's a little bit off, but I can take my instrument and put it right here and just bring it right down. All right, and then you can just go ahead and wax up your model just like you normally would, duplicate it, and make your tray or your spring aligner or whatever, and you've maintained the vertical dimension. Okay, it's still a little bit off. There we go. Alrighty. Well, I hope this helped you. If you like this video, please subscribe. I'll be here every week answering questions and showing you some of the things I've learned over the years. Now, if you're new to the field or if you're training new people, I have a program for you. It's called Orthodontic Laboratory Basics. You can check it out on our website at ortholabvideos.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.